Hey, Scotty. So I wasn't planning on coming back with another video yet, but a lot of information has been pushed out yesterday. Well, was pushed out yesterday. Speak English correctly, Crystal. Um, and so I wanted to kind of talk about two topics: the remote learning piece and masks, because there's a lot of stir around that and maybe some misconceptions. And if those are the things that you're going to base your family decision on, I want to make sure that you understand it and have an accurate picture of what those two topics mean. So, yesterday it was out in the newspaper. Dr. Ott sent out something to parents as well via email saying that masks are going to be required for all students. So, after that, I got on Facebook and was, reading the article and reading comments, and oh my gosh, my kid cannot wear a mask for 8 hours. Heck no, our kids can't wear a mask for 8 hours. They would go crazy and we would too. So what exactly is Dr. Ott saying? What he's saying is that a mask or face covering, so it could be one of these little masks, it could be the bandana things that you pull up over your face, either way, face shields, any kind of face covering, will be required when personal space is not feasible. So what does that mean in the classroom? If I'm sitting in my table space, I have personal space. I have my own personal bubble. We talk to our kids about, having your bubble. If I'm at a carpet and I'm working on my iPad, I'm the only kid on the carpet, or I'm one of two kids on a giant carpet, I have personal space. In those situations, our kids don't need to have on a mask. Now, when my teacher calls me back to our small group table to learn together, and there may be 7 kids at the table and my teacher, and we're hunkered down in each other's space, then that personal space isn't really possible because we're all kind of squished in together. And so that's when a kid would be directed to put on their mask. So it may look like group 2, come on back. It's time for your group, for your math group, and make sure you bring your mask with you because we're going to be working together closely. And so kids would bring their mask on and put it on. Or we're walking in line and we can't have a bunch of personal bubbles in our line, because if you've ever seen kindergartners walking, personal bubbles lead to scattering like ants. Then we would say, okay, guys, we're going to go to music now. We're getting in line, so make sure you have your mask on so we don't have personal space in line. Put our masks on. And so that's how that'll work. So it won't be all day, every day, sitting in here with your mask on. And I will say that our kids are resilient, and the masks aren't terribly uncomfortable. One of the things that I saw this brilliant idea, and I think we're going to try to purchase lanyards for everybody, but if you want to go get like a Paw Patrol one for your kid because they love it, getting a lanyard and attaching it to the earpiece. So you can see that, how it's attached, so that I have my mask on. It's time to go back to my personal space, so I can take it off and just drop it. And it's attached, so it's not falling to the floor. It's not getting left behind. It's not, somewhere else. I can only imagine where my son's mask would end up. And so this kind of keeps it attached to the kid, and it's always there and available to them. So that is mask. It's not 8 hours a day. It's only when their personal bubble, their personal space they're not able to maintain that because of either transitions or the way kids are being grouped at that particular time. The other thing I want to talk briefly about is remote learning. The district is trying to be very clear and helping parents understand the difference between last year and this year, because it is going to be very different. And if you're opting for learning it remotely, you need to know exactly what you're signing up for. So Ms. Parks put out a video, I believe yesterday, that talked about the remote learning piece and said it's going to be a full day of work, or a full day of learning. So we have to provide 180 minutes of learning. Now, that's not 3 hours sitting like this in front of a computer. I would go crazy My own son would go crazy. That's not what we're saying. So it could look something like this. In the morning, we have our carpet time and we're going over our foundation, so our letters and sounds and reading stuff. So I, as a teacher, I have a camera set up, and you at home are watching me and my class do our letters. That's a 20-minute activity. So the directional lesson plan will say, sign on, watch foundations, then complete this activity. And so you'll watch for 20 minutes and then you're going to have some work to do. And then, our reading time is at 9 o'clock. So at 9 o'clock, the teacher would turn on their camera, they would do their story time and have an activity for the kids to do afterwards. And so you would do that activity with your kid. So there's not going to be this long nonstop video you're watching. The other thing is, if you can't participate when the instruction is live, the video will be loaded into Google Classroom for you to watch later. And so I kind of wanted to clear that up because I think people are worried that they're going to be sitting in front of the computer for 8 hours a day. That's not what's going to happen. However, it is important to understand that every day you as a family are expected to engage with the school in learning. And it's not going to be like last semester where, you had your packet, you could do your packet whenever you wanted and it was fine. And just as long as it got turned in by the end of the week. There will be daily touch points that need to occur. And so I think that that's just a very important change that people need to understand. And here's the thing too. The last 1 minute, I'm gonna get on a soapbox here. If you choose to send your kid to school, you're not a bad parent. If you choose to remote learn, you're not a bad parent. If you are excited to teach and ready to come back and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in my classroom, you're not a bad teacher. And if you're excited to come back, but you're also scared and you're worried, you're not a bad teacher either. So I think that it comes down to making, for you, as families, it's making a decision that's best for your family. You have to weigh the pros and cons. You have to weigh the expectations. I mean, can I manage to log into a computer every day? At some point in the day, some point between 8 and 11:59 p.m., can I do that? You have to weigh through all those pieces. But at the end of the day, it's got to be what's right and doable for your family. And at Scott, we're going to honor that, and we're not going to put anyone down or think any less of anyone for making the choice that they do well. And so we'll have more information coming out about that, but I really wanted to hit those two topics going into the weekend because I know they're going to be hot topics. And I wanted you to have some accurate information and some maybe cleared up misconceptions for your Scotty family or from your Scotty family. And so we hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for listening. Bye.